Mass exodus in Jonesboro. It's a Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's get right into it. Well, we will in a little bit. How about Coastal Carolina taking down the number 3 team Clemson Tigers? 8-2. We'll get into that. And we can't wait for it because the game started at 7:30 Eastern time. Ragin Cajuns with a tough start against LSU. I'll give you the score. It is what it is. It is 10-4. I'm not sure what they're doing. The Cajuns starting Andrew Herman on 3 days rest. I mean, he couldn't find the plate and then giving up home runs. Eventually, Holtzhammer comes in, gives up a bomb. It was 9-1, and I wasn't sure if you could get a run rule in the first inning, which I know you can't, but it would have saved everybody a little bit of time. Cajuns did put some runs on the board. Not going well for the Cajun softball team either, although they did have a big lead. They're going to get run ruled against LSU softball. So a little bit odd that softball and baseball are playing on the same nights. Cajun softball and LSU softball playing in Lafayette. Baseball is playing at the box in Baton Rouge. All right, so a mass exodus in Jonesboro, which is not a surprise. So just to set this up, back in the day, when you did have like legal, I don't want to say legal transfers, when transfers had to wait a bit, you had to sit out a year. All right. And I'm going to presume this is the same way. I'm just going to go on what I knew it was. If you wanted to transfer within the same conference, you had to sit out 2 years. All right. And so what that prevented was if a coach got a job in the same conference, you couldn't jump ship to another team in the same conference. Okay. That doesn't happen very often. It does happen every now and then, Charles Huff. But we're way past that. All right. But that's what it used to be. All right. You used to have to sit out at least 1 year. And if you went in the same conference, you had to sit out 2. You may have lost 2 years of eligibility. Now you don't lose any eligibility. You don't have to sit out, and you're not losing any eligibility either. All right. Now, not only are guys leaving, they're going with their other coach. All right. So let's bring this up, right? We bring, again, we talk about Kara Ritchie all the time. So she tweeted it out. Who is, doing a little clash here. Should I stay or should I go now? Arkansas State's men basketball 2024-25 current roster departures. I think this was at noon-ish on Tuesday. In the portal was Izaiyah Nelson, Terrence Ford Jr., Joseph Pinion, Darian Ford. Okay, seniors, Taryn Todd, Kobe Julian. He's 7-year senior. All right. COVID, numerous injuries. All right. DeAndre Dominguez, Avery, and Feltz, who I think got some academic awards that came out on Tuesday. So congratulations to Avery and Zane Butler. So basically Todd, Julian, Dominguez, Feltz, and Butler are done. Okay. So that is not sure how much Butler played, but the other 4 guys did play. All right. And now Nelson, Ford, Pinion, and Ford are leaving. So that is that's 9 guys right there are all gone. Okay. Nelson and Pinion are headed towards South Florida. They're going with their coach, Bryan Hodgson, to go play in South Florida. And I thought sometimes it's not easy to find the actual Twitter feed of these guys because, well, there's more than one. Oh, there we go. All right. Joseph Pinion. Let's see if this is the right guy. It is. Okay. So I'm just going to read this. He put this out. And it may be AI or just copying everybody else. Okay. So remember, and I will also say this. I don't know the whole background. It did come out. Some audio came out from the beginning of the month that Bryan Hodgson had signed the contract because other people had checked in on him. All right. So he purposely signed the contract. Okay. And make sure we understand where I am coming from. I don't have a problem with anybody chasing the money. I really don't. Don't tell us it's anything more than chasing the money. Also, yes, Tampa is more scenic than Jonesboro. I get it. All right. And someone mentioned on YouTube that apparently South Florida did win the regular season last year. Still, they didn't make the NCAA tournament, so they didn't win the. I didn't double check that. I should have. They didn't win the tournament, so they didn't get into the NCAAs last year, from what I saw. Okay. So remember, all of this just happened, and again, compared to say Will Wade. Will Wade showed up to the NCAA tournament and said, "I spoke to my team. I know they know where I stand, and I know where they stand." So, he was being brutally honest with everybody. So I don't know if Bryan Hodgson was doing the same thing. Very well could have been. Okay. Who knows? All right. Just because we don't know about it doesn't mean that they weren't talking about it. All right. So I'm just going to say from my point of view. All right. So this is Joseph Pinion. This is March 25th, 2025. All right. So that was Tuesday. Remember, they lost on Sunday. All right. After many conversations with my family, I've decided to enter the transfer portal. I'm going to express my gratitude to Jonesboro and the A-State community for an incredible season and for your tremendous support. The Red Wolf community will always hold a special place in my heart. With that being said, I will be committing to the University of South Florida. That was it. That's the whole thing. All right. How many conversations did he have with his family over how many days? Right? I mean, it just happened. Now, again, could we be going back? Did Bryan Hodgson tell his team that this was happening, right? They were in the NIT for a little bit over a week. I don't know. All right. Him and Izaiyah Nelson are heading there. I didn't see if anybody else is heading there. All right. Now, I'm also going to presume this. They're getting paid a little bit. All right. I hope they are. I hope they are cashing in. Get the tax attorney. All right. Get the accountant. All right. Because even if you are cashing in, someone hands you $100,000 check, you got to come up with 30 grand. All right. And, now it doesn't have to pay that. Here's the other thing. Here's the other tricky part. All right. It doesn't really have to pay that until April of next year. All right. And so just get the tax attorney. All right. Or the accountant. You don't even need the tax attorney. You just need the accountant. Anyway. So right now we have Izaiyah Nelson and Joseph Pinion joining. We'll see if anybody of the other Fords head over to South Florida with Bryan Hodgson. All right. And then we'll see who is up for the Arkansas State job. All right. Speaking of Will Wade and McNeese, they did hire somebody. All right. That did not take very long. Again, that process was out in the open. And apparently the guy that they hired, everybody knew he was getting the job. So that didn't take very long. We'll see how long it takes for Arkansas State to do it. And here's the thing about both those jobs. The guys who got them proved that you could win there. All right. Maybe not anyone's specific. People are always going to say those are not the easiest places to win. Lake Charles, Louisiana, and Jonesboro, Arkansas, except the two guys who were just there won in both. Will Wade won more in Lake Charles than Bryan Hodgson won in Jonesboro. Will Wade went to the NCAA tournament not once, but twice. Now, all right. Now he had to Southland tournament in his arena twice. So he only had to win 2 games twice. But nonetheless, so you can't use those as excuses now. That's the thing. So, but mass exodus, and that is the lay of the land. That is the way it is of the world, that these players follow the coaches. I do hope that Pinion and Izaiyah Nelson did get a little bag, baby. I hope they got a little bit of cash. All right, to make it worth their while. All right. Let's take a timeout. Let's talk a little midweek baseball. Coastal Carolina, behind some pretty good starting pitching, takes down the number 3 ranked Clemson Tigers. We will do that after I tell you about Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code S-H-5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. To start and to perpetuate rumors, we have not one, well, scheduled 2 appear. Scheduled 2 appear, not 1, but 2 Sunbelt football coaches later on in the week. We'll see. Scheduled. Plans change. All right. Coastal Carolina playing the number 3 ranked Clemson Tigers, defeat Clemson 8-2. They had a 6-run 3rd inning, which gets that done. It also helps out that it was, let's see here. It was Luke Jones pitched very well. 4 innings, 2 hits, zippo runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, though he did hit 2 batters. So he gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 hit batters, and did not allow a run. Got 8 ground outs and 2 double plays. All right. Ellison got the win, did give up a run on 2 hits in 1 inning of work. Interesting that he gave up 1 run on 2 hits with no walks in 1 inning of work. He got the win. Horn gave up 1 run on 1 hit. He walked 2, struck out 2. Johnson, 2/3 of an inning, struck out 1. And Lynch, an inning and a third, struck out 3. In fact, he struck out 3 of the 4 batters that he faced. So good job by him in the 8th and the 9th. All right, so the big inning was the 3rd. Let's go to the scorecard and let's see. Well, that may be more difficult. All right, starts out actually with a Dooley strikeout. So there's 1 out, nobody on. Mijos walks, Bodine singles, Alexander a 3-run home run. All right, so 3-0. 1 out, nobody on. Barthel grounds out. So 2 out, nobody on. Mitchell hit by a pitch. Thorndike hit by a pitch. So 2 on and 2 out. And Pato homers. Is it Pato or Pato? So a pair of 3-run home runs for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Boom, bada bing, and the ball game was basically over. And a great job by Coastal Carolina going into Clemson and taking care of the Tigers. So good job by them. All right, that's certainly going to help out their RPI. That is for sure. All right. Let's see where else. App State took one on the chin, I believe. Georgia State with a win. Georgia State beats Alabama State 10-7. That's good to see. Some of these scores are not updated on the Sunbelt website as quickly as maybe I would say they should be, or as quickly as I would like them to be. Richmond does down James Madison 12-4. It has not been a great season for James Madison. They have been struggling. Let's see the App State score. That game started at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And let's see if it is over yet. Oh, my goodness. App State has come back. So this is a crazy ball game. App State scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to tie this ball game up. They are in the bottom half of the 10th inning. App State at the plate. Started at 6:05 Eastern time, apparently. The two teams combined to score 11 runs in the first inning. High Point put 6 on the board in the first. App State came back to score 5 runs in the first inning. I would love to know how long the first inning lasted. That was at least an hour long. All right. Unfortunately, though, for App State, High Point came back with 2 more in the second and 2 more in the fourth. App added a run in the fourth and a run in the sixth before their heroics in the 9th inning. I guess let's look what happened in the 9th inning here. Let's see here. Lichtenberg started it with a double. Figueroa lined out to third. Lopez was hit by a pitch. Evans singled home a run. Moquin lined out. So there's 2 outs and 2 on. And Zamora doubled to right, bringing home a pair of runs. Miller struck out swinging with the winning run on its second. So they do tie it up. It is 10-10, bottom half of the 10th inning, and they are 3.5 hours in, more than 3.5 hours in the ball game. Love those midweek ball games. We'll see if App State, I mean, here's my theory. If you're going to lose fast. If you're playing a 3.5 hour ball game, you might as well win the thing. You might as well come away with a victory. All right, let's see if we get one more win in here. West Virginia does blank Marshall 7-0. That ball game was in Morgantown. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Cajuns, rough start against LSU. That game seems to be meandering along as well. We'll talk about that when we come back after I tell you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Yes. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, bourbon, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, and your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery and bourbon. Now I budget smarter and save more money. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. I did get a unicorn bottle yesterday. I even told Mama Schultz about it. Spent a little bit, but I got a unicorn bottle that I was searching. All right. Cajuns and LSU again. It really is a lose-lose for LSU. They're a top 10 team. They're a monster offensively. The Cajuns can't hit or pitch. And if LSU wins, they should win. And if they lose, Cajuns fans treat it like it's a World Series victory. Okay. Well, the Cajuns had Andrew Herman pitching this ball game. I don't know what's going on with that. All right. Andrew Herman, for the last few outings, has been pitching the back end of Friday nights. Now, he pitched the back end of the Chase Morgan ball game last Friday, and they actually got a victory against South Alabama. Chase pitched the first 4 innings, coming back after missing a couple of starts, and Andrew pitched 5 innings. Well, this may be his throw day, but he's on 3 days rest: Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He pitched on Tuesday. That's not really supposed to happen. And it looked like it. Could not find the plate. Walked a couple of batters and then blew him. All right. There was a play, the right fielder, I'm not sure his name, could have made, missed. Would have been a nice catch. Could have made, not should have made. He just missed. Sun may have been in his eyes. That could be excuse/reason, but the sun was in his eyes and he just flat out missed it. And so it bounced over he was sliding, sailed over his glove and out for a ground rule double. And then one of a couple of home runs in the first inning. And it was a 9-1 ball game in the first. All right. They are I will admit, it is 10:15 Eastern time. And it is, this game is meandering along. It is 11-4 in the bottom half of the 5th inning. All right. And we'll just give you the Cajuns pitching. Herman, and maybe Andrew Herman, 2/3 of an inning, 5 hits, 8 runs, all earned, 2 walks. All right. Holtzhammer, 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and a strikeout. The 1 run, he gave up a home run, but some of those were Herman's runners. All right. Mandino, 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Grab, who I don't know who that is, 1 1/3 innings, 1 base hit, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Okay. They've given up 9 hits and 8 walks, and they've hit 2 batters. Like, LSU is one of the best offensive teams in the nation, and they're giving free passes. That's not going to fly. That's not going to work out. All right. And so LSU doesn't need the help, and it's just not the year that was expected from the Cajuns. I wasn't sure. Cajuns lost a lot from last year. All right. But I thought they would be okay and kind of compete in the Sun Belt. I'm not sure I thought they would be. I thought they would be. Hold on. Let me retract that. I thought they would be with the Coastals and the Troys and the Southern Misses. All right. I don't know if I thought they would be at the top of that foursome or so, but I thought they would be there, and they're not. All right. They are not. Why that is, I don't know. All right. Maybe just the talent turned over and the pitching wasn't ready. And the youngsters coming in, I think some guys got banged up, and they are not nearly as good as some people had hoped they would be. All right. One of those, it is what it is. However, there's still 2 months left. Things can change. We shall see. All right. Elsewhere in the Sun Belt on Tuesday, let's see what Texas State and UTSA did. All right. This game in San Antonio. Texas State had a sweep over the weekend, so they started turning things around, reverting back to form. UTSA with a 10-0 lead in the 6th inning. So that could be a run rule game. All right. They're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That's not going Texas State way. Did see that Skylar Meade got tossed at home. Troy is actually losing to Wofford. That's a long way for Wofford. They must be headed to somewhere. Wofford is, lighting Troy up 11-3 in the top half of the 7th inning. Troy is ranked 17th in the nation. Yeesh. All right. That's a little bit surprising. All right. So that's 11-3, top of the 7th. Wofford on top of the Trojans in Troy. All right. Let's see what South Alabama and Auburn are doing. All right. This game is in Auburn. South Alabama had taken Alabama to extra innings last week. And Auburn is all over South Alabama this week. 12-5, bottom half of the 8th. South Alabama had put 2 runs on the board in the first, but Auburn came back with 3 in the first and then 5 in the second, and really haven't looked back since. Auburn has committed 4 errors on the night, though. That's something that probably not going to make Butch Thompson too happy about. All right. Let's check out what else we got here. ULM. I think it's Central Arkansas. ULM on top of Central Arkansas, 8-1 in the 9th. And I want to see the Southern Miss score is the other one. That may not be available. Well, let's find out. Nichols is actually leading Southern Miss, it appears. 8-5, bottom half of the 9th inning. In Hattiesburg, Nichols leading 8-5, bottom of the 9th, 1 on, 1 out. So Southern Miss technically has the tying run on deck, but are down to their final 2 outs. So Coastal Carolina, kind of the lone bright spot in what has not been a pretty night. Troy's losing, Southern Miss is losing, Cajuns are losing, Georgia State won. South Alabama is losing. It's not a banner night for Sunbelt baseball outside of Coastal Carolina taking down number 3 Clemson. All right. So throw these rumors out there. I don't mind saying it. Scheduled to appear. Scheduled. All right. Things change. Supposed to have Major Applewhite on this week from South Alabama. We'll see if that flies. And we'll see if Charles Huff from Southern Miss comes on. All right. Both have come on multiple times, obviously covered Major at South. So looking forward to that. And Charles Huff has come on more than a couple of times as well. And so we're looking forward to catching up with him down in Hattiesburg. So we shall see. The idea is going to be able to record these and see if I can get up to Cincinnati for baseball and then Indianapolis for basketball. So we shall see. We have Thursday and Friday off. So that is the benefit of that. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Somewhere along the way, we'll talk about the weekend series of baseball coming up as well. All right. If not, we'll recap it later on in the week. Of course, we now have another coaching search, Arkansas State. So we'll find out what's happening there. Does Bryan Hodgson take his assistants with him, or do they leave somebody behind and keep that going? Kind of thing doing at which is what I said about the Cajuns, right? With Quantus White, because I think that's a short-term gig for Quantus White. If he's really successful, he's not going to be there very long. And, does he leave somebody behind to carry on what he's building? We'll see. All right. Thanks very much for tuning in. You've been listening and watching to Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Hope you had a fantastic Tuesday. Hope you have a fantastic Wednesday, rather. And we will talk to you again on Thursday.